Give it a couple minutes here to see if anyone else jumps in. Our semi-regular, informal get together just to catch up, see what's new, see what's going on. And Anne and Mark, do you guys know each other at all? Excellent, excellent, good,
Yeah, we just officially met a couple of weeks ago, I think.
fantastic.
Yeah, I want to say last Monday, Mark.
It might it might have been that soon, yeah.
We had a good discussion, kind of an introductory meet and greet kind of thing.
Excellent. All right,
Yeah.
who we got here? Hi, Fawn.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us. I was just chatting with Ann and Mark a little bit, waiting for some folks to jump in here. Andrew, how's it going?
Hey Frank, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Happy
Good to see you.
Friday.
Happy
too.
Friday indeed. Absolutely. Let's see. Well, Fawn and to a certain extent, Mark, you're a little bit new to this forum. It's pretty much um an informal, just kind of get together. Andrew's been on these, Ann has been on these, where we just kind of, like I said, get together, kind of chat, have a little break, stay as long or short as you want. I won't be offended if you have to drop off early or anything like that, but it's just a chance to get people talking, get to know each other, let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. So if you don't mind, Fawn, if since you're kind of like the new person in the room, I don't think you've been to one of these. If you have, forgive me for forgetting.
No, but if
But
you notice, we're wearing the same merchandise.
is that okay, good. Now there's the
Uh-huh.
connection. All right, that's good stuff there. So
Nice.
yeah, we'd love to hear from you, Fawn. You can let us know, who you are, what you're up to, what's going on.
So, Fawn Montaigne, fundraising manager for Kind Souls Foundation. Andrew just shared with me about this meeting briefly ago and just wanted to pop on and say hello and answer any questions as he provides some updates, but very happy to be here and be a part of the organization.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. And so where are you located, Fawn?
I am located in Wells, Vermont, which is just on the border of New York and Vermont.
Cool. Cool.
Hey, Fawn, this is Colin's like half version of his face.
Hi, Fawn. Hi,
Over
Drew.
there.
Hi,
Good to see
guys. So happy
everybody.
you're together.
Hi, Andrew. Yeah, we killed it for Kind Souls these past 2 days.
Yeah, we did.
Great.
Woohoo.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about
Can't wait
it.
for your update. Yeah, what a good chance.
Yep.
I guess do you want me to take it away? Can
Go for it,
continue
Andrew.
since we started with Kind Souls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, yeah, like Fawn said, she just joined us. We're very happy to have her. She has a lot of experience in national nonprofits. So we love our workers' compensation base because, again, for those who don't know, we're an emotional support line serving the medically work displaced. So due to injury or illness. A lot of callers in our referring caller support partners come from the workers' compensation space. Our founder owns an ancillary services company in the workers' compensation space. But we also serve callers outside of workers' compensation. So we're ready and eager to grow that base. And I think Fawn's going to help us do that nationally.
Excellent.
That being said, little update. We do have like 14 companies actively referring callers. We call them our caller support partners. We love them. We're actively engaging HR and employers. We would love anyone, case managers, nurse case managers. We've had a partnership with the New York State Work Comp Board recently in their integrative services program, where 8 vocational rehab counselors and 12 of their licensed social workers are referring as callers. So they've found our services very helpful. We've served 137 callers to date. We have another one this afternoon. And then for those attending National Comp in November, we have a full schedule for that. You can find us on the expo floor having a silent auction where all proceeds will go towards us and our caller programs. We'll be hosting a panel session on Tuesday at 3:45 with Gallagher Bassett and Miami-Dade County Public Schools, talking about the whole person approach to recovery and not just looking at their one specific injury inside workers' compensation. So taking in the whole human, are they morbidly obese? Do they have diabetes? Are they 72 or are they 31? All that stuff. And then the emotional recovery and support aspect of that as well. 3:45 Tuesday. And then, of course, Cocktails and Connections Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for those attending National Comp. We hope to see you there. And then one quick thing for next year, upcoming in March, we're having our first annual pickleball day. So for those who play pickleball, stay tuned. You'll have a lot more information on that soon. I see some smiling faces, so I'm glad that's a hit.
No, I haven't tried pickleball yet, but that might be enough to poke me into it.
Okay.
Just don't
So
get
it's gonna
injured,
be,
Frank.
I
More
know.
welcoming than a golf tournament. We were chatting about it, and not everybody likes to get out on the golf course, but pickleball is kind of all ages. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a golfer, but pickleball has just like exploded in popularity. So I feel like I'm behind the times with the pickleball situation. So it's gonna be
We'll
like
definitely,
a virtual type of thing like you do with the 5K,
yes.
obviously.
And we'll be having definitely an in-person location in the like Tampa, Orlando area. So I know you're a little bit south of that, but
Yeah,
if that's a possibility, we'd love to see you there.
yeah, I might be able to cruise up for that.
Okay, fun.
There we go. Oh, this is exciting.
Um,
Uh,
that's
yeah, go
about it
ahead.
from Kind Souls. We're here. We're ready to grow our caller base. We'd love volunteers or caller support partners. So if anyone can pass our name around, Fawn and I would love to take a meeting.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, Mark, it's been a while since we've caught up. What's new with you?
A little bit of everything. I'm out here on my back deck because the weather's nice in the Atlanta area, and Wi-Fi works out here, so that's always perfect. We're very privileged to work with Kind Souls Foundation and provide their learning platform, the onboarding process for their volunteers, and that's been a lot of fun, being able to kind of somewhat help them in their regard of staffing up. We're continuing to grow. We just launched a couple weeks ago a new certification program called the Workers' Comp Mental Injury Claim Specialist, which is helping people understand how to deal with claims that have mental or psychological injuries associated with them. There really isn't anything out in the industry for that. We've got a variety of other programs that we've been working on. I did a recap of what we've accomplished since we launched in 2022, and I suddenly got really tired. I didn't realize that we had done that much. Claire's been a big part of that in regards to just being an emotional support for us, but also giving us a lot of content. She did a lot of blogs for us initially. She taught several courses, risk transfer process. Claire, as you know, that's one that everybody kind of circles around. So Claire's been humongously helpful in that. So it's been a lot of fun. We're gravitating towards being a real business. We're in our 4th year operation, and not quite there. My IRA is still suffering monthly casualties. But we're making progress towards that and having a great impact. And I'll be in Nashville, so I'll be definitely looking for you guys at the National Comp Conference for sure.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. I'm gonna jump over to Anne because you wrapped up a series for us, and if you want to talk a little bit about what that series covered, and maybe let us know a few big things that you learned in putting that together for us. Great series, by the way, just a fantastic series. And you're muted, Anne.
Sorry, I was trying to cut down on the road noise you might hear. No, thanks, Frank, for encouraging me to do that. I had a family member who injured his low back and had all kinds of preconceived ideas and assumptions about how long it was going to be and how people wouldn't understand, and he would likely end up with back pain all the rest of his life and so on. So I, at Frank's encouragement, wrote a series of articles from each of the different players' perspectives. So the injured worker, the payer, the provider, the attorney, if they get involved, and so on. And it was really good. It was a great experience. I thought I had a pretty decent ground level understanding of everybody else's experience until I interviewed like an orthopedic spine surgeon and heard his take on work comp and so on, and learned a lot. One of the key take homes, I guess, from the payer perspective, and I talked to someone Wednesday. He said, it's such an assumption that fraud in work comp is only like a $7 billion problem. He said it is, and I found two studies. It's more like a $45 billion a year problem. So that was interesting, and how the value of communication, and I'm sure Claire can attest to this, how valuable communication is among all the players, and the lack of knowledge of injured workers for their condition, and how education, to Mark's point, is just key of everybody. So my take homes, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. And if you haven't had a chance to do so, you go to, our site, workerscompensation.com. It's categorized under the expert analysis page. And if I put together all six once it was wrapped up and, went through its run. So all six are in one place together, and interesting stuff. And the sources that you had were great. The kind of people that are on the ground dealing with that day in and day out. So their information was fantastic. Yeah, excellent work, and appreciate that, Ann. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Frank.
What was the takeaway you had from like the orthopedic surgeon?
He said, and a lot of providers, I was a provider, I'm a physical therapist by background, and
Oh,
I hear a lot of providers that have kind of this jaded idea that injured workers are trying to game the system and so on. And he was much more empathetic, extremely well-known, internationally recognized spine surgeon, chair of his department, saying the key take home he wanted me to emphasize in the article was taking the few minutes to answer questions. Because he said so many times the injured worker feels taken advantage of. No one wants to explain their injury. They don't know about incidental findings. They don't realize all the findings on an image, an MRI, don't need to be addressed, and that they're not likely to have, he said so many of them catastrophize and think, oh, woe is me, this is the end of this, I'll never be able to do anything. That was really valuable. And it was interesting that Julio Martinez, the uh, defense attorney that I interviewed, echoed the same thing. He said if providers, especially surgeons, recognized how valuable their education is to the injured worker, he said they'd put me out of business because I would have no litigated claims.
Yeah. But then kind of on the flip side, the longer it takes for those questions, or the longer that those questions go unanswered, the more likely the worker's probably going to pick up the phone and call an attorney.
Yeah, and even comments that a provider might make, they'll go home and
Mhm.
pick up the phone, and that's, they're lawyered up because of that single comment.
Mhm. Oh, excellent. And so speaking of series, uh, Dr. Claire is in the middle of one that the latest entry ran today. Dr. Claire, do you want to shine some light on your
Yeah, you
recent
got
AI
it.
series? Awesome.
So I have the hobby of being a college professor, and I get to be graced with a lot of really intellectually sound people, and two people that I've become pretty good friends with happen to be like AI gurus right now in the academic and professional space. Their names are Chris Snyder and Chris Porter. And so I have gotten the ability to and the permission to kind of take everything that they talk about in their world of this is how AI is transforming, this is how you use ChatGPT, this is how you use Chrome or Copilot and all this other stuff. And I've work compified it. So, okay, this is so great. Here's what the researchers are saying. Here's what the frontline amazing people are saying. And this is how you use it in the work comp space. This is how you use deep research. This is how you build a So when your company needs to figure out ideas, you've already got a chat ready to go that you can just say, all right, Mark from the construction team B is out. Give me some ideas for light duty work. And you can have all of that programmed in. So it's been a fun educational resource of teaching people in a consumable way how we can work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and that the Chris Snyder and Christopher Porter, they have a blog called the Innovation Profs that I highly recommend. The
Well,
combination
the one
of,
today was about study mode.
yeah, the combination of their blog and this series that Dr. Musselman has put together has literally been the most helpful information that I've read on AI. And I don't say that like to, blow smoke on anyone. Just because there's so much out there. Like every time you open up an article, there's something about AI, and it's just like I get totally overwhelmed with it. And Claire told me a couple weeks ago, it's like right now everybody just says they're an AI expert and they push stuff out there
And
and
they're
it's just
not.
all over the place and it's impossible to filter through it all. But when she introduced me to the innovation profs, it's like it's easy to understand. They do webinars, they have a blog, and it's like, okay, now I get it. Like I get kind of what AI is about, how to use it, how to kind of make decisions on what you're doing with AI. And Claire has really done an excellent job applying their model to workers' comp. So good stuff there.
Been fun. We've learned a lot.
Oh yeah.
Been fun. Yeah. And then I'll take it if that's okay. Colin and I are actually at, where are we? Scottsdale, Arizona. We were introducing Kind Souls to about 250 employers. It was the best past 2 days of just
Incredible.
been really fulfilling of introducing more on the employer side. I have kind of, well, this past year or the past 2 years, stepped back from the industry specifically because I'm tired of hearing the same things over and over. We say we're going to change, and guess what? No, work comp industry doesn't. So we've kind of moved into working with employers directly because guess what? Those individual people actually can change what's going on. And so there's something that's like I'm very passionate about. Like I love hearing about the AI world. What do we do with it? Give me action. Break it down for me so that that you can it can actually walk away from reading your article and know, how do I do this now? What can we do differently?
Can AI make me more human?
Yeah, can AI make me more human? But it's been fun. So we got to actually like talk to a lot of employers about how this could benefit their workforce, aside from the emotional intelligence piece, like what Anne was talking about. Like people don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to handle the communication aspect. Okay, well, you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Give your employees this resource. There you go. And it was fun. It was fun to hear like what employers were facing. And so like even like the compassion fatigue of leaders, who do leaders get to turn to when they're dealing with all of this stuff? Because we talked to a lot of first responders that are like, we see stuff all the time. Like, what are we supposed to do with that? Or when there was one gentleman that talked about there was a really bad car accident where a gentleman and his family were killed and they leave behind a few, and what that happened to their employees that weren't in.
Uh-oh.
I think she froze. We were about to get to the something big there too, and it just froze.
Yeah.
Don't leave
Always
us in
comes
suspense.
Yeah, come back,
always
Claire.
always comes at the worst time.
We even got her into action where she's got her hands going and stuff.
Oh, I
Got an
know.
action shot there.
Yeah, this is like, okay, to be continued. The the joys of
Okay, well that was cool. My internet just apparently it's checkout. Oh
yeah,
well.
we
But
thought you were
like, what do
just
we do
building
with
up the
people?
suspense.
It happens like, but it's been fun to actually like talk to employers, direct employers, and people that are all in an entrepreneurial too, where they know their employees very well. It was when there was a cowboy today, big cowboy had a big mustache, and was like, "Do you guys help the military too?" So it's just good conversations.
Excellent.
Do you want to add anything?
I think, from my point of view, it's thrilling to be able to see that there are people who give a shit. right? There's a room full of people who want to do it better, who actually want to talk about it, who want to hear from Claire how she can help their culture, how she can help their leadership handle these moments differently. And then again, for even when it all doesn't go perfectly, to still be able to like introduce a resource like Kind Souls to them, just major. You know, like, after 4 years of doing this, you know, work conferences and stuff, it gets a little disheartening because you're like, this is valuable. How is nobody seeing that? You know, or how are so few seeing? So then be in a room with these people this week and have them be like, oh wow, this is great, because the employers are what it's all about. I think we need to get away from TPAs. That's just my opinion. Get away from TPAs, but
Okay, that's all of our soapbox today, Frank. Sorry.
No, that's great. Appreciate it. And I have to ask you what the sign is behind you. You know, I'm easily distracted, and it looks like there's
Sorry,
like a donkey on the sign. I
it's
just
called Bomb Taco, and I have never been there, but it's a spot in the shade because it's a warm day here in Nebraska. Bomb Taco.
Bomb Taco.
Yeah.
Probably
All
something you
right.
don't want to eat right before a really long road trip.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's aptly named.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, what was the name of the webinar that WorkComp College hosted last week on the human aspect of AI?
Well, actually, we're using some interactive AI bots within our campus. We have an entity called Alistair Einstein, spelled IE Einstein, so the initials are A and I. And then we've also got Avatar Bob, that Bob Wilson, my partner, created to join his panel at the NWCDN conference a few weeks ago. And so we did a live webinar, and we orally, verbally asked questions of these two bots, and they responded orally back to us. And it was completely unrehearsed, unscripted. Bob asked, you know, a couple of questions about our services, which had been trained on. And then I asked what the state capital for Indiana was. I asked how average weekly wage is calculated in Oklahoma. Somebody asked who the best teacher was at WorkComp College. We had a couple people come on, so it was really wide ranging, and there were some latency issues because it was on Bob's computer going through Webinar Jam, through all sorts of stuff. So every time sometimes we would talk over it. But some of the responses were very intriguing. In fact, we had some questions from the audience that were very detailed, comp questions, and it did a pretty good job of answering them. And that's the next step in AI is, I mean, you've seen the deep fakes. It's hard to go on X now and recognize which is actually legitimately somebody talking versus somebody that made them talk and made it look like it. But I think having that interactive style with that, so it was an adventure for us. Again, it was unscripted. Didn't actually know what was going to happen, but fortunately, it was pretty successful in that. So it just kind of showing, to Claire's point, you know, how AI, you know, is just taking over the world. We've got 2 certification programs on AI talking about how to use AI on work comp. I use ChatGPT on a daily basis. Bob likes Claude. So a Copilot is built into everybody's Microsoft platform. So everybody kind of uses Copilot. So it's just a part of the process. So it's been very interesting to see that, but that was a fun experience for sure. When he said, when we asked him who was the best faculty member, he said Scott Walker. We don't have anybody by the name of Scott Walker. And so I kind of opined that he meant Johnny Walker. And then of course the audience took up on that, and Johnny Walker Black Label, or, you know, whatever the different kinds of Johnny Walker whiskey there was. So it was very lighthearted and kind of informal. Probably not something that you used to see on a webinar, because Bob and I were laughing a lot, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and AI Bob could really do a pretty good deep fake too.
Yeah. Well, and he trained that persona to be sarcastic and cynical, just like him. So
Imagine that.
It gave different answers than Alistair, the button-up Alistair Einstein did, for sure.
And speaking of AI, I get all these notifications from the note takers on here that they've already put key takeaways from our meeting together. So boom, there you go, in action. Well, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I don't intend these to take up a lot of your day, and I try to do them on the monthly. So if you'll, check social media in your email, I'll have the November one put up here in the next couple weeks or so. And come if you're able to. If you're not, we completely understand. But it's always good to see your faces. We're here at workerscompensation.com. We're remote, so there's those periods where I forget that there's humans out there. So it's always good to have some kind of connection with y'all, and I appreciate your spending some time with me.
Thanks for having us, Frank. I
Yeah,
enjoy
thanks.
these. We'll catch up.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Frank.
Nice to meet
Me
you.
And
too.
I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to reading your series.
Well, thank you. Thanks for connecting, Andrew.
We'll stay in touch.
Nice to meet you, Fawn.
Likewise. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for sending the invitation along to Fawn, Andrew. Appreciate that. And Fawn, thanks
Always.
for coming. And always good to see you, Mark. Thank you.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Thank you,
Well, it's
Mark.
easy
Yeah,
to see you
thanks,
because you're a
Frank.
head taller than everybody else in the conference. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I can't blend in with a crowd.
no.
All right.
Y'all
Thanks,
have a
guys. I
great
appreciate
weekend.
you. Have a
You
great
too,
weekend.
guys.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.